In today's video, I'm going to quickly go over the bottlenecks which I overcame in my own lead generation agency, getting to the point of 100k per month. And this is every single self-limiting belief that I was able to overcome with a little bit more experience. So let me show you which roadblocks I had. So to start off with, the main roadblock was just being able to take money from people in the first place. So my self-limiting belief was not being able to collect cash at all from customers. So not being able to strike up a deal to make money with a customer. So first bottleneck is taking money. So it was basically finding out what I could actually do, what service I could provide. Actually, yeah, let's change that. So offering. Let's put offering in there. Offering, which is actually appealing enough to the market for them to exchange money to me to do. And then once we came up with that, it was then, what was the next bottleneck? It was actually removing myself. So second was I had no time. And this was because I was doing all of the cold calling myself, right? And I was doing all the sales and I was doing all that sort of stuff. So we were basically in a situation where we were doing all of the fulfillment ourselves and we couldn't actually bring new deals on and make more revenue. So no time, literally fully doing fulfillment. Fully doing fulfillment. And then I basically was on a group coaching call and someone said to me, "Oh, who's doing the sales?" When I basically broke down my business to him. And I was like, "Well, no one is." He was like, "Okay, well, sales velocity is the most important thing that you could be doing, right?" And that, that basically lit up a spark in my mind. And I then basically figured, well, no one's doing the sales, I need to focus on sales. So then I got a sales mentor and then everything skyrocketed. It basically went from 7k a month all the way up to probably 70, 80k a month from that point, after we figured out that we needed to focus on sales, collecting cash and all that sort of stuff. So once we scaled that, once we started focusing on sales and we actually scaled, but in between then there was another bottleneck, right? And this was actually removing myself from sales. So getting someone else to do the sales for me. So the third bottleneck was founder-led sales. So that was the next bottleneck. I was basically collecting cash myself, maybe doing like 40 to 50k a month on my own. And my biggest worry was basically, okay, jumping out of sales, all that revenue stops, right? So how can I sort of get someone else in to do that? And what I did from there was, probably a bit slower than I should have done. I got someone else to do sales. So got out of founder-led sales, got someone else to do the sales. And then that scaled up even again. I had 2 more people. They started collecting loads of cash. And then the next sort of bottleneck from there was fulfillment. So what was that? Fulfillment bottleneck. Fulfillment broke because we were collecting too much cash. And at this point, I made a fatal error. Well, we made a fatal error in thinking, oh, the service delivery is just not scalable. But what we didn't do is we didn't get out the management of fulfillment. So what we should have done is get managers in for fulfillment. So really, the next step from there was getting managers in to manage the fulfillment so it wasn't so strenuous on our day-to-day, taking up so much energy on our day-to-day. So pay managers well to take over the fulfillment system. I mean, first of all, you need a system itself. So build a system out, build key performance indicators around your fulfillment, put managers in place to hold up those KPIs, and then bang, you're out of fulfillment and you're out of sales. Now, another sort of bottleneck that we then overcame was, or came to, was that I was getting burnt out managing the sales team. And as simple as that sounds, what's the sort of answer from there? And this has been a massive sort of self-limit belief from the fulfillment side, from the front end side. It's like, okay, how can I then get a manager in to manage the sales team who is bringing in all of the revenue? It's very simple. All you need to do is just put a system in place. Like I said before, have KPIs, and then they're managing that, and then you can focus on the marketing, which is going to bring more money in anyway. So next one is manager for sales team, and then that's sort of where we're at now, getting out of management for the sales team. But that is literally bottleneck. First of all, had the offering problem, so I was not able to nail down an offer which people were actually interested in giving me money for. As soon as we got that down, that got us to around 10 to 15k. After that, we sort of got bogged down by fulfillment, so we're doing all the fulfillment ourselves at around 15k per month. What we did then is we basically then ended up getting people in. So we ended up getting people in to start doing the fulfillment for us, and then we were managing the fulfillment. Then I focused heavily on sales. So we split the business up between fulfillment and sales. I did the sales side and I was selling. From there, I basically got out of founder-led sales, and then we scaled up the sales to around 100k a month. From there, the fulfillment broke, so we ended up getting managers in to manage the fulfillment, giving them KPIs and a structure to follow so that they can hit those KPIs. And then really it's about scaling headcount and marketing so that those things can. After there, we then ended up getting managers in for the sales team, because it was a bit of a self-limiting belief where, okay, if I step out of managing the people who are bringing me money and I put a manager in, are they going to be able to do what we say? And it's very simple. You just got to pay them well or give them equity. I'd recommend just paying them well, paying them a percentage of what the closers are making as a percentage. I would definitely recommend doing that. And then also just set clear KPIs, and then it's not that hard to do. And then from there, that's sort of where we're at now, and we're just building multiple different teams based on the same structures that we had. So I hope that was helpful in terms of the bottlenecks that we've sort of faced and how we overcame them. If any of that resonated with you, feel free to DM me leads, and I'm more than happy to give some advice and maybe jump on a call or something like that.